To those before, to those after, to us now, and to those beyond. Welcome folks, and if you have been lucky enough to have watched the new show The Midnight Club on Netflix, that intro will need no explanation. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to give you a little review to, I think, one of the best series I've watched in a long time. For me, it's right up there with things like Stranger Things. It's The Midnight Club. So The Midnight Club is actually taken from a novel written in 1994 by Christopher Pike of the same name, for young adults. This has actually been adapted for the screen by none other than Mike Flanagan. We also have some of the cast that he worked with in Midnight Mass, which was a great success last year. This, in my opinion, is better. It's not as dark, it's not quite as scary, but the sheer quality of this show does have to be put out there. So this series is a 10-part series, approximately 50 minutes per episode, and this follows 8 terminally ill young individuals, young teenagers, who are all together in a hospice called Brightcliff. Each night they come together at midnight in the library to tell each other scary stories, and they make a pledge every night that whichever one of them passes first, they will do everything they can to prove to the others that there is a beyond, there is something, there's life after death. Each of them tell a different story every evening, and we get to see the characters, the actors and actresses play the characters themselves, but we also get to see them as the characters in the different stories that's told throughout the evenings. So we get to see a lot of different sides of these actors and actresses. We get some stories that are quite scary, we get some that are quite sad. So lots of different factors come into these stories. But this series, and I think the novel is obviously based at young adults, at young teenagers, but this was just the depth of everything going on in this, and some of the little subtleties, and some of the things that aren't explained but you can take yourself, you know what they're trying to say, was just absolutely beautiful. This is a series that if you're sat on your own watching this, you will have tears running down your face at certain aspects of this. It's just complete and utter heartbreaking in places. It makes you tense in places. You're intrigued the whole way through to find out what's going on, because obviously other worldly stuff is happening. These kids are trying to get to the bottom of stuff that's gone on with previous members of the Midnight Club, stuff that they have perhaps discovered. These 8 young people are trying to get to the bottom of what that means for them and their lives and their different diagnoses. So we get to see backstories of each of the individuals. We get to learn about their families, we get to learn about who they were before the illnesses struck them. From the stories that they tell to the other kids in that Midnight Club, we get to know a lot about them as individuals. Even though they're maybe not telling a true story about themselves, we can get very much aspects of them from the information they're given, from the stories that they're telling. We get some very deep things that are shared between individuals by way of story. It's never really discussed, well, this is actually true, aspects of this did happen, but it's a way for them to actually talk, to reach out to one another, to bond together through this shared hideous, horrible journey that they're all on. The storytelling is fantastic. The acting is first rate. There is not one weak link in this story at all. Each character has very different personality traits, and even though as you watch this you may find yourself feel irritated by different characters, you will end this loving each and every individual actor that you have seen, each character that you've seen portrayed. You will understand them a little bit more. You will understand aspects of their personality, why they are the way they are, and you will perhaps not always agree with them, but you will come to an understanding of each individual character, such as the writing and such as the performance, that you can't not love every person that you see on screen here. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. There are some twists and turns, there are some surprises. The cinematography, as you would expect from anything that Mike Flanagan puts his name to, is absolutely beautiful. I'm sure Christopher Pike is over the moon with how his idea, his realization has been put on the screen. It's just absolutely stunning. The home that is used for the hospice, honest to God, if I ever won the lottery, that's the house I want. It is perfect. Every aspect of this house is stunningly beautiful, and you find yourself in awe the first time you walk into it and you see the shapes of the halls and the staircases, and it's just absolutely unbelievably stunning. The sound design in this is perfect. I really get frustrated when I find myself craning to hear whispered voices and then I get deafened by loud sound effects. It really frustrates me as a viewer. This doesn't happen at all in this. Everything is at the right level. You don't find yourself with a remote control up, down, up, down. I watched most of it yesterday. I spent most of the day watching it. I'd watched a few episodes the night before and I just needed to get it finished on Sunday, so that's what I did. I sat down and finished it. If I had to criticise anything about this series, the only thing I would say is there is a little bit of use of CGI in a couple of places that looked a little bit ropey. Now that is not at all for the whole series. There is some fantastic use of CGI in this, but there are those couple little scenes that I could have done without. I'm very much a less is more person, and this does operate on the premise of less is more. We don't see it very often, and most of what we see is very effective. This series is very much about the characters, about your connection to the characters, about your understanding of the characters, and the place that they're all in. They're all waiting to die. They've all been given a terminal diagnosis and they're together in this home, basically wanting answers, wanting to know, is this it for us? When we die, is there anything else? Or is this it? So yeah, I thoroughly recommend, guys, that you check out The Midnight Club. I absolutely loved it. I couldn't take my eyes off it, and I do think that most of you out there would really enjoy it. So it's a thumbs up from Lisa Loves for The Midnight Club. Have you seen it yet? Let me know below if you have and what you thought of it. Are you interested in it? Are you going to watch it? Follow on watching my review? Let me know, folks. As always, I really appreciate each and every one of you that watch and leave a comment. I will get back to you eventually, I promise. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Over and out from Lisa Loves.